Hawaii, and welcome to Hawaii Sports Update here on ThinkTech Hawaii. Thank you for joining me once again. And before we get started here today, I would just like to give a big shout out to Tashaya and Tanaya Alo, the Alo sisters, for being the #1 ranked show on ThinkTech last week. And it's because of you guys. They are in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center, and I'm sure they're working very hard to improve their wrestling game and try to get on that Olympic team this year, especially for Tanaya and Tashaya, excuse me, and Tanaya. I know she's just engulfing the whole situation, and she's just going to get stronger and stronger. Now, I have, of course, my right-hand man, Justin Baptiz, over here.
How you doing?
And he'll be joining me today, and we'll be going over some high school sports. It was the first weekend that officially counted in high school football this week, and that's a big, huge thing over here on the islands. And we were out last week, of course, watching UH football, and as soon as the show's over today, we will be heading back out to the campus up on Manoa and checking out some football as the time is winding down. September 3rd is their opening game against University of Colorado, and looking for some big things out of Max Wittick this year, the transfer quarterback from USC, and of course Ben Clark, the four-year starter offensive line. He's played almost all positions on the offensive line, and he definitely has a professional career ahead of him. Dustin Pedroza and Marcus Kemp are back healthy, and UH is actually looking like they're going to be able to put some points on the board, and they have a saying already this year: they want to score 75 touchdowns. So that's the goal that Norm Chow and the coaches have set out for UH this year, and hopefully they'll reach that. And if they do score 75 touchdowns, they should have a pretty decent record. So we'll be heading back out to Manoa and checking them out. But in the meantime, the Star Advertiser has released the top 10. And Justin, thanks for being here once again.
No problem, man.
All right.
Always.
Yeah. And the Star Advertiser has released its top 10, and basically the top 6 teams are the same. They still have Mililani at #1, St. Louis #2, Punahou #3, Kahuku #4, Kamehameha 5, and Farrington 6. Kapolei with the big upset over last week's #8 rated team Kaiser has jumped into the top 10 at #7, and then Iolani has moved up from #10 to #8. And Kapa'a, of course, they were not in the top 10 last week, and they have moved into the top 10 at #9. And Campbell, after taking that thrashing from Kahuku 50-0 last week, has dropped from 7 to 10. So, it's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be just a lot of upsets. I think more than this year. I mean, this year more than not. Mililani is rated #1, but St. Louis, Punahou, Kahuku. There's a lot of teams out there who I feel that can take the state championship. There's just so much talent on the island this year. You want to elaborate on any of that?
Well, I just want to say I appreciate you having me back on the show again.
Absolutely.
And as far as what you're saying about high school football, I believe you're right, and I also believe that Kahuku is going to be right up in there. I'd say maybe about the 2 or 3 seed.
Yeah, well, Kahuku is always traditionally strong, and half the boys from Laie are playing in Punahou anyway. So I mean, if they had all of their horses in their community, they definitely would be the #1 ranked team. But as far as #1 ranked Mililani, quarterback Mackenzie Milton, who has orally committed to University of Hawaii, if he has a season like he did last year and the year before. Of course, I'm getting all this information from the Star Advertiser, Mr. Billy Hall. Appreciate all that. But Mackenzie Milton has the potential to pass a record that no one in Hawaii ever thought would ever be passed, and that's Timmy Chang's yardage record. I mean, Timmy Chang threw for over 10,000 yards, and people thought that record was actually almost untouchable. But Mackenzie Milton's process over the past 2 years have probably given him the opportunity that if he has, I believe if he throws for over 3,300 yards, he's going to be right there close to Timmy Chang's mark. And everybody knows Timmy Chang. Of course, he's a legend, St. Louis product, of course. And what do you have to say about Mackenzie Milton?
Yeah, well, I want to give a big shout out to Mackenzie. I know that we talked back in the day during your Mililani playing days last season, and I must say, you've done pretty well in your successful high school career. Yeah, if he can pass that record, I think he's going to do very well throughout, college and high school. I think if he can keep that up, I think Mililani is right back where they were last year, contending defending champions.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the running back, Babai Maliapai, this guy has scored over 20 touchdowns the past 2 seasons. So now he's in the position to, have the touchdown record, as well as if he gains, close to 2,000 yards this year on the ground, he's in the position to pass some highly regarded running backs, Joe Igbar from Iolani, of course, and other running backs. But both of these guys have a chance to put themselves in the record books, and we just hope they stay healthy, and good luck to them, throughout the season. If you just joined us, you can tweet the show on Twitter at ThinkTechHI, of course. If you want to chime in on the conversation, ask anything that you want about high school football, what's going on, or just ask us any question in general. Hop on the Twitter and tweet us at ThinkTechHI. Now, big news, of course, out of Kapolei, their senior offensive lineman, Tolafoa Awai, 6'5", 300-pound O-lineman. He's going to make his announcement on Friday, right before they host their football game. And he has narrowed his choices down to 6 universities. And of course, the Pac-12 just gets loaded and loaded with guys out of Hawaii every year. And, we here in Hawaii try to keep some of the local talent here,
right.
Which is good, like Mackenzie Milton and Timotea, also the wide receiver, have both committed to UH, and that's good. I hope they don't have so good of a season that somebody comes and snatches them up. But this senior offensive lineman from Kapolei has narrowed it down to UCLA, Texas Tech, Louisville, Vanderbilt, Utah, and Oregon State. And, from the gist of what's been going on, I pretty much think that 3 Pac-12 teams, have the inside track. That's UCLA, Utah, and Oregon State. Mm-hmm. But, just another big kid, out of Kapolei who's going to be in the Pac-12 one day. And, if you look all through the Pac-12, even Texas Tech has a good, what should I say, line with kids from Hawaii, So, what do you say about these kids getting ready to go to the Pac-12 and you want to speak on that?
Well, like you mentioned before, the Pac-12 has gotten a lot of Hawaii players onto their teams. It's just becoming a very good conference. I mean, the Pac-12 is a very good conference, and I think that with the production of the Hawaii players going to the mainland, it just comes to show that they've been able to produce well as athletes and be able to make it onto the pros. So I think that's been the much benefit as far as that's concerned. But like a lot of coaches and people have said here, it's great to see more Hawaii athletes play in Hawaii and produce as far as the next level. But yeah.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Kalakaua Timoteo is a huge receiver. This guy's 6'2", 205 pounds, and of course, him and Mackenzie Milton will be hooking up this year for Mililani. But just to have a commitment from those 2 guys, like I said, I hope that they don't have seasons so big that they, that someone comes and snatches them up. But,
exactly.
But those are 2 very talented kids who have committed to the University of Hawaii, and that's a good thing. And if you remember back in the June Jones days, he would keep, or he would recruit I would say out of the top 5 linemen, offensive and D linemen, he would probably keep about 2 of them. You know, 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen. You're talking about Travis LeBoy. You know, you're talking about the offensive lineman, Tala Isera.
Yeah.
You know, guys like that. And you know, if you can keep 2 out of the 5 top recruits, and then of course go outside and get the speed from such places as California and Florida, which Norm Child definitely has the resources to go get. He had the resources to go get Max Whittick, of course, out of USC. That was huge for us this year, and you know, we're looking for big things. So, you know, like I was saying back in the June Jones days, I think that's what set the tempo for the nucleus of you know, the beginning of building up a strong program again.
Yes.
So, you know, hopefully we will be able to keep some of the local talent, like you
I hope
said.
so too.
And you know, and then go, of course, outside California, Florida, to go get the speed guys, and you know, and rebuild the program. This is Norm Child's 4th year, and these are all of his recruits now. And you know, just from observing practice, you know, that they look a lot more athletic. Like I said, they have 2 huge receivers in Pedroza and Kemp, and then of course they have Collie in the slot, and you know. They look big, they look athletic, and they look tough. You know, but they do have a very tough schedule this season. You know, they open up against Colorado September 3rd, and we'll be looking forward to that. And then they got to go on the road against Ohio State and Wisconsin. And you know, the main thing that I hope that happens out of that is that they just stay healthy. You know, if nobody gets hurt going into the Mountain West Conference, I honestly believe that Hawaii has a chance to contend in the Mountain West Conference if they stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree too. I mean, you got to give big props to Norm Child and what he's been able to do this year. As far as you know, as the past 3 years, he's been able to develop his team. But as you said, this is his 4th season as a head coach. So you got to give Norm Child lots of props to be able to do what he's been able to do this year with getting players like Whittix and Ben Clark, and just being able to have that team morale. And I think that if he can keep the team morale together and keep all the players together and not have any disputes or anything going on with the team per se, I think they're going to be a very successful team. And I'm expecting big things from this year's team, especially with that they've been able to practice. They're going hard every practice, every game. So let's just look forward to that and see what they can do.
Absolutely, and you know, like I said, just from observation, they you know, they look bigger, they look stronger, they look quicker, and you know, so hopefully they'll be able to transfer that onto the field, and you know, have a successful season. That's all we want. We just want, you know, we want to see them succeed,
Right.
and I think Norm Chow has got the talent to put them in the opportunity to succeed. Now, of course, we're talking about commits, and Nate Herberg, who has committed to Stanford, offensive lineman from St. Louis, he went down. We don't know how extreme his injury is or how long he'll be out, but that's a big blow for St. Louis if he doesn't come back soon and doesn't come back healthy. Drew Kobayashi, of course, a wide receiver out of St. Louis. He is also committed to a Pac-12 team in Cal. 6'2", 185 pounds. This guy can go get the ball. He, you know, he's just an athlete. And who we spoke about, of course, earlier, Rabbi Malapai, he has committed to Oregon. He's a running back, 6 foot, 190 pound, out of Mililani, and he's the glue to that team. You know, without Malapai, Newton wouldn't be as successful, right, and Timoteo wouldn't be as successful, because when you have somebody like that who can also catch the ball out of the backfield, and with his running prowess, you know, that gives Mililani a triple threat all the way around.
I agree.
And you know, so he has committed to Oregon. And then St. Louis linebacker Jordan Iosefa, 6'2", 225 pounds. I mean, what can you say? He's just a beast. And him together with Junior Slade Matatia, you know, St. Louis. I'm not going to say they're going to creep up on people, because people know how prolific their program is, especially with Cal Lee back at the helm. And you know, to me, I think St. Louis is going to be the team to beat this year in the high school division.
Okay.
They, they have some beast out there, and we're going to see. That's why they compete. That's why they can play the game. I mean, that's why they play the game because, like I said, it's about four teams who have legitimate shots at the state championship this year. I believe it's Mililani, St. Louis, Punahou, and Kahuku. But you can never count on Farrington, and you can never count on Kamehameha either. So, congratulations to all the Division I oral commitments, and of course, congratulations to offensive lineman Telefo Awao. He's going to make his announcement on Friday. If you just tuned in again, tweet the show. You ThinkTech HI. Hop on your Twitter and hit us up. And we're going to go on a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking some national sports on Hawaii Sports Update.
Aloha, my name is Miley Scarpino, and I'm the host of the Empower Hour. If you're interested in health, nutrition, fitness, here on the island of Oahu, want to learn more about places to train at or different trainers available, then watch my show on Fridays at 3. We have a great time, and I hope that you'll come join us. Much aloha. Now go get swole.
Aloha, how you doing? I'm Gordo the Tech Czar, here on ThinkTech Hawaii, where we co-host Hibachi Talk, where we talk about technology and bring in all kinds of cool guests. Also, my co-host with me today is
Andrew the security guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching ThinkTech Hawaii, and thanks for watching Hibachi Talk. We also have Angus.
And you there, lad? It's Angus. I bring in all kinds of wee things. Oh, look, you see my lips moving.
Aloha and welcome back to Hawaii Sports Update. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm here with my right-hand man, Justin Baptiz. And we were talking about high school football. Of course, Hawaii has always produced multiple talent and going to the NCAA and, of course, even in the NFL. And speaking of the NFL, the Hall of Fame game was just played this past weekend. And, of course, the first football player of Polynesian descent has got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Of course, we're speaking about Junior Seau, linebacker out of University of Southern California. I love the Trojans. But let's speak about these guys again. And the number one, the impact of what Junior Seau means to the Polynesian community. Of course he has relatives out here, and but this guy was just an all-around nice guy, but he could turn that light switch on once he got on the field, and like we had said earlier on Saturday, Junior Seau was a linebacker who played in the middle, okay, and he didn't have to come out on third downs. This guy intercepted balls, he sacked quarterbacks, and he smashed people all in the same process. And I think he meant as much to the inside linebacker almost as Lawrence Taylor meant to the outside linebacker.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about Junior Seau, and what effect does him being a Hall of Famer of Polynesian descent mean to the islands and of course to the Polynesian community out here in Hawaii?
Well, I must say that Junior Seau has had lots of success playing football in the NFL. What he's done for the Polynesian people has been very successful. He's given back to the community. He's given players opportunities to get motivated for themselves to be potential NFL athletes in the future. And as far as Junior Seau, he's just been an incredible player. He's been able to have a successful NFL career. Despite his death, he was able to make a huge impact to not only himself but to his family, his community.
And of course, we are talking about his very unfortunate suicide, and the concussion issue in the NFL is just being brought to light within the last couple of years, but it goes back so deep, and I'm just glad that they are making strides to try to, try to find out, what a person's brain capacity can handle and the repercussions of having so many concussions and stuff like that. I think that they are starting to study it a lot better. And of course, Junior shot himself in the chest because he knew, that something wasn't right up there, and only him and his ex-wife and his family really know the pain that he was going through. I mean, you're talking about a tough guy who probably just couldn't take the pain anymore, and pretty much made a statement, to, hey, come on, guys, let's get this fixed. And rest in peace, of course, to Junior Seau, and God bless his family. His daughter did a wonderful speech for him and his honor, and I'm glad that the NFL finally realized that they should go up there and just let her speak, because she wasn't going to speak anything negative about what happened
Right.
to her father, but she was just going to say all positive things about what he meant to her and the family, and I think the NFL made the right choice by letting her get up and speak at the podium.
I agree.
Now, big Hall of Fame class, Charles Haley. Now, Charles Haley was a beast too. Now, this guy, like you said, when he was with the 49ers were winning championships. He won 2 rings with the 49ers, and he won 3 rings with the Dallas Cowboys. And, the 49ers that won them first, and then when Charles Haley went to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys started winning them. Another guy who can rush either side of the line, even line up on the inside, had over 100 career sacks, and Charles Haley was just a beast. And I loved his speech when he was talking about the golf cart and how he drove up on the green. And they're like, hey, you can't drive on the green.
Right.
And he wasn't a golfer. He's just a big old football player, so he really didn't understand what was going on. And so they go to the next hole, and he drives up on the green again, and the marshal or the groundskeepers tell him, hey, man, you can't drive up on the green. And Charles Hayes like, man, all this stuff is green, man. I don't understand. So, but on the football field, he was definitely a leader. And what do you have to say about Charles Haley?
Yeah, one of the most profound speeches I've heard in a while. Just very, very, very. That was a funny speech, but just very, very talented athlete. He played hard to the very end. Didn't he have like 5 rings?
Yeah. 5, yep, 5. He's the only player to have 5 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Like I said, he had 2 with the 49ers, and he had 3 with the Cowboys. And, it wasn't any coincidence that when he was with the 49ers, they were winning, and then when he was with the Cowboys were winning, because basically through that little 10-year stretch, they probably faced each other 5 or 6 times in the championship game to see who was going to go.
Yeah.
And Charles Haley had a big hand in all of that. And, just a beast. Now, let's move on to Jerome Bettis, the bus. Perseverance always pays off. When you first look at Jerome Bettis, especially, when he came out of Notre Dame, he wasn't the fastest running back. He could definitely run you over, but, just to persevere those years and to be so smart. And Jerome Bettis is when he retired, I believe he was the third overall yardage running back in yards, and now I believe he's 5th or 6th, like that. But I mean, for somebody like Jerome Bettis to persevere so long and to get into the Hall of Fame and all that hard work, it just goes to show you, don't judge a book by its cover. You don't have to be this heck of a speedman guy or a straight Earl Campbell or anything like that, but you just 80% of the deal is just showing up, and when you show up and you work hard, you never can tell what happens. And it happened that Jerome Bettis worked himself into the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest football players ever.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you on that. I mean, Jerome Bettis was one of the best running backs in the NFL. He was one of those guys that wasn't probably the fastest guy, but he got it done on the field. And you know, I loved this speech. You know, he has such respect for his family.
Absolutely.
And it was just great to see. You know, especially anybody who can do that, especially in doing any speech. I feel that's very important. But you know, the bus keeps on moving.
The bus, that's right. You know, the part I liked about his speech is when he was getting ready to go to college, and his dad said, you know, hey, you know, I don't have too much for you, but you know,
I got a good name, so don't mess it up.
Yeah, but I got a good name, so don't mess it up. And I'm sure he did his father proud. You know, to go to such a prolific university as Notre Dame, and to succeed there at the college level, and then get drafted by the Los Angeles Rams right before they were getting ready to leave. Of course, people may not realize that, but he did play for the Los Angeles Rams. And then, of course, he made his bones in the Pittsburgh Steelers backfield, and it was just nothing but a big asset for the Pittsburgh Steelers and those runs that they made. And then the year that he retired is the year that, you know, Pittsburgh won the Super Bowl. So, you know, what a career for him. And, you know, all these guys, you know, when you sit back and you see how, you know, what walk that they took to get to this place, the one characteristic that they all have is they're all very classy, and they all persevered for many, many years. And so, you know, congratulations to Jerome Bettis also. Now, Tim Brown, you know, now that's my team, the Raiders. Even though he played for other teams, he played for the Bills and so on. But the thing I liked about Tim Brown's speech is that he caught passes from 20 different quarterbacks. Okay, now that's how, you know, I mean, besides Rich Gannon, I mean, it was just a crapshoot, you know, who was going to be the Raiders quarterback at one point in time. But one thing that was steady and for sure was Tim Brown. And of course, he went to Notre Dame also. And, you know, Tim Brown is in the top 10 pretty much in every receiving statistic. He has over 100 touchdowns also. And I believe over 13,000 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. So, and he was a heck of a returner too. So, any thoughts on Tim Brown?
Yeah, Tim Brown was one of the best receivers in the league. Very fun to watch. Just all-around guy, really cool guy too. But yeah, he made the Raiders a good team when he was playing. But to have over 20 quarterbacks, that's like saying Alex Smith having all those offensive coordinators he had to pick and choose from. Or yeah, but other than that, yeah, Tim Brown.
Yeah, well, you know,
successful.
what people don't realize is when you have to make adjustments to a quarterback, you know, people might just think that's for granted. You know, even if it's a lefty or a righty, the ball spins differently out of a left-hander's hand. You know, the ball spins differently when it comes from the right-hand side. You know, you have timing patterns, you know, where a quarterback might not get back to his drops, you know, even if it's a half second slower than the quarterback before. You know, you have to make adjustments to all of that. Tim Brown never complained. He made the adjustments. And him again, you know, he wasn't the kind of guy who was going to catch the ball and run away from you. You know what I mean? But you could bet on third down, you know, that he was right there. He was Johnny on the spot. But he was more than just a possession receiver. He had a little bit more speed than that. He could go deep, but you know, he wasn't a blazer. You know, but he was just a precise route runner and a very high football IQ, and that allowed him to be successful for many, many seasons. And you know, just for him to, like I said, to collect passes from 20 different quarterbacks, I mean, you know, that's tough. That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Very tough.
All right, now Will Shields.
Yeah, Will Shields, offensive guard, made it to 12 Pro Bowls. Blocked and paved the way for Priest Holmes and a lot of other running backs, and very successful. One of the best offensive tackles in the game. Gotta give him much respect.
Without a doubt. And I don't know how he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, but you know, when you play for as long as he did and you make 13 Pro Bowls, I mean, that's self-explanatory. And the thing that Will Shields said, you know, and his IQ is very, very high too. But the thing that Will Shields said about Junior Seau is like, okay, when you have blocking schemes, you know, everybody's accountable for.
Right.
You know, if they're in a 3-4, if they're in a 4-3, you know, if they're in their dime package or nickel package, and they can smell the blitz coming and stuff like that. But he said that one person that you could never account for is Junior Seau, because he was too far ahead of the game. You know, he was quick enough to get by you. He was strong enough to run through you, and he was smart enough to know what was coming, you know, before it even happened. And, you know, with that compliment coming from a 13 or 12-time Pro Bowler like Will Shields, just lets you know how special of a person that Junior Seau was. Now, I don't know if you were born when Mick Tingelhoff was snapped into Fran Tarkington, but it took him 37 years to get into the Hall of Fame, and you know, I was very young when Mick Tingelhoff was playing, but you know, I do remember Fran Tarkington scrambling around, and it used to always come down in the NFC to the LA Rams and the Minnesota Vikings for years. I mean, and the Vikings would always beat us, and they have lost 4 Super Bowls just like the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if people. I don't know if people realize that, but the Minnesota Vikings were good. They just never got over the hump. You know, that they had lost the Super Bowl 4 times, and they had some great teams back in the days. Chuck Foreman, you know, Ahmad Rashad, you know, just great players. And you know, Mick Tingelhoff was the center during those years, and you know, just a remarkable man, and he persevered all these years just to get into the Hall. And to me, you know, he was the one who was the most emotional, because, you know, it took him the longest route. And you want to say congratulations, you know, of course, to Mick Tingelhoff.
Yeah, and I must say, though, it was good that Fran Tarkenton was able to be out there with them during the Hall of Fame induction speech. I thought that was very, very impressive, and such a good thing, especially with those 2 players having very much success with the Vikings. Fran Tarkenton was one of the best quarterbacks in the league back in the day. And yeah, he was a scrambler, but he got it done.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
you know, he got it done.
Tarkenton would take off in a minute, man.
Yeah.
I used to just sit there and just, oh, catch him already, catch him. But, you know, he was pretty nimble, and, you know, Fran Tarkenton is, of course, a Hall of Famer himself. Yeah. So, and then now, those were the 6 players, and then the 2 executives. Bill Polian, you know, he has that connection with Peyton Manning, and you know, like he said during his speech, hurry up and retire Peyton, because if not, he might not be along.
It's the induction, yeah.
But you know, he is the one who you know, is responsible for pretty much for the Colts' resurgence, and you know, anything you want to say about Bill Polian?
Yeah, well deserved. Without you, I don't think that would have probably never happened, especially the way he's been able to put all those players together with Tony Dungy, and still the Colts are a very good team in the AFC South.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you got to give Bill Polian lots of props. I mean,
Marvin Harrison,
Bob Sanders,
right.
Dallas Clark, Dwight Freeney. The list goes on. Robert Mathis is still currently playing. So, yeah, one of the best executives in the league, behind Ralph Wilson with the Buffalo Bills. You know, and you know, just very fortunate that he's been able to have his success to keep a team together. Let's hope that other teams can have that success. I know the Raiders did with Al Davis, but we'll have to see how they do, the silver and black.
Absolutely, and you know, the Colts really haven't really fell off since the Peyton Manning days. I mean, you know, they've been pretty consistent for a while now, and you know, you have to give Bill Polian a lot of that credit, you know, and what his vision was for those guys, and that he stuck to it. But Peyton Manning was definitely the key piece to that. And then, of course, Ron Wolf. What can you say? I mean, you know, when this guy traded their first-round draft pick for Brett Favre back in the days, everybody thought he was crazy. Okay, and then, you know, of course, you know the success that Brett Favre had with the Green Bay Packers, and then he brought in Mike Holmgren. And, you know, and actually, you know, since from back in the Vince Lombardi days, you know, till Ron Wolf came along, you know, the Packers were a struggling organization that they were totally at the top when, you know, during the Lombardi days, and then they just went like 20 years into obscursion, you know, and Ron Wolf is the one who made that deal with and got Brett Favre and then Reggie White, you know, and brought those guys back to prominence, and got to give Ron Wolf a lot of credit for that.
Exactly. I mean, Brett Favre, I mean, what can you say about that guy? Hall of Famer, legend in the game, one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Almon Green.
Yeah, Almon Green. Yeah, I was about to say that. Almon Green, Donald Driver.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Reggie White.
Yeah,
you
Reggie
know,
White. Yeah.
You know, the Minister of Defense. You know, I remember when the Packers won the Super Bowl, and Reggie White was running with that trophy, man. I was just so happy for him, you know, because you know, Reggie White's a great guy. He was a great man, and you know, he was holding that trophy like it, you know, like it was nothing. You know what I mean? And believe me, he had a grip on that boogie. He wasn't letting go. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So that's it for the Hall of Fame. Of course, with the Hall of Fame game and the Hall of Fame induction coming up, that is just a precursor to what the NFL season is going to be. And we're going to go on a commercial break real quick, and when we come back, we'll be talking about some of the things going on in the NFL and, you know, get ready for this season. Who do you think the favorites are? What's going to happen with Tom Brady and all that? So we're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side of Hawaii Sports Update, we'll be finishing up with a little bit of NFL news on the other side, Hawaii Sports Update.
Hi, I'm Chris Leatham, and I'd like to invite you to come and watch my show every Wednesday at 3. I'm interested in a variety of issues that have to do with politics and our local business economy. And I'd like to bring on guests who like to talk about everything from technology to social media to what we can be doing to improve our environment. And so I'd like to invite you every Wednesday at 3 to stay and watch my show here with ThinkTech Hawaii. And I'll see you there.
Welcome back to Hawaii Sports Update. And if you just joined us, I'm here with my right-hand man, Justin Baptiz. We just hit up a little bit about the high school football season that is just began last weekend, and of course Mililani and Punahou Mililani, Punahou, and St. Louis, as well as Kahuku, always favorites to take the state title, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out this year. Yep. Very well-rounded teams all the way around. There's not really one distinct favorite, and it's going to be interesting to see. Now, man, Geno Smith, you know, wow. Quarterback for the New York Jets, gets his jaw broken by his teammate, apparently over $600 plane ticket that he sent Geno to. Geno was supposed to appear in his camp. Okay, so he sent Geno Smith the plane ticket to come, but Geno Smith didn't show up because there was a death in his family, a motorcycle accident in his family a couple days before the camp, and you know, I don't know what could lead to, you know, such an argument to take place over $600 for an NFL guy. Man, that's like a quarter to me and you, you know. And, you know, this guy ends up punching Geno Smith in his face and breaking his jaw and in 2 different places. And now he's out 6 to 10 weeks, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have to step in and try to lead the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how Fitzpatrick does, but very sad and unfortunate for Geno Smith to have that happen to him. It wasn't unnecessary. It was very unnecessary to have that happen. But Fitzpatrick, the only Harvard quarterback in the NFL, as far as other players who graduated from Harvard and got into the NFL, he's the only one remaining. So we'll have to see how he does. But much love to Geno Smith, and hopefully he can become back and more successful. All
right. Well, we're going to have to come to an end here. And once again, Justin, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah. All right. And you know how we do it on Hawaii Sports Update. Hui ho. Till next week. Aloha.